A woman vanishes from a luxury yacht in paradise. No goodbye note. No signs of struggle. Her boyfriend waits 9 hours before calling for help. Her belongings remain untouched. She simply disappeared into the Caribbean night. This is the Sarm Heslop mystery. 2:30 in the morning. A phone rings at the Virgin Islands Police Department. My girlfriend is missing from my boat. The caller's name? Ryan Bane. The missing woman? 41-year-old British flight attendant Sarm Heslop. What happened next would expose a web of unanswered questions, questionable decisions, and a family's desperate fight for truth. This is her story. Sarm Heslop lived the dream many of us only imagine. Trading her flight attendant uniform for Caribbean sunsets. Her Instagram told the story: crystal blue waters, white sand beaches, and endless freedom sailing from island to island. She'd met Ryan Bane on Tinder during summer 2020 while visiting Grenada with friends. Their connection seemed instant. Bane, a former tech worker turned yacht captain, had been living his own Caribbean dream since 2015 aboard his 47-foot catamaran, the Siren Song. For Sarm, it appeared perfect. Working as a chef on Caribbean tours while living what looked like an endless vacation. Her final Instagram post on March 1, 2021, showed Bane's dog on a pristine beach. 7 days later, she would vanish forever. March 7, 2021. A typical evening in paradise begins. Sarm and Ryan enjoy dinner at the 420 Center Bar in Cruz Bay, St. John. Security cameras capture them leaving the restaurant, walking toward their small boat to return to the Siren Song, moored roughly 200 feet from shore in Frank Bay. According to Bane's account, they watched a movie before falling asleep. But at 2 a.m., something woke him. The boat's anchor alarm. A device that sounds when a vessel drifts from its position. When he investigated, Sarm was gone. Her passport remained on the boat. Her wallet. Her phone. Her personal belongings. Everything that would suggest a planned departure, still there. When he looked over the side, nothing but ink-black water. Now here's where this case takes a troubling turn. At 2:30 a.m., police receive a missing person report. The dispatcher advises contacting the Coast Guard if someone may have fallen overboard. What happened during those 9 hours? The family wants to know. The public wants to know. 3 years later, no one has explained the delay. When Coast Guard officials finally board the Siren Song that afternoon, their official report documents an encounter with what they describe as a highly intoxicated and uncooperative individual. The cabin search they requested? It didn't happen. Why wasn't the boat searched? The family has asked this question hundreds of times. The answer remains elusive. Meanwhile, 2 other boats were moored nearby that night. Their owners later told NBC's Dateline they heard nothing. No splash. No cries for help. No sounds of distress. Complete silence in paradise. As news of Sarm's disappearance spread, investigators uncovered troubling information about Ryan Bane's past. Court records from 2011 show a domestic violence conviction against his then-wife, Corey Stevenson. The sentence, 60 days, with 21 served for assault and battery. Stevenson's statements to investigators describe a relationship that changed after marriage. She spoke of injuries and a partner who transformed from charming to dangerous. Given this documented history, Sarm's family expected thorough questioning. Instead, Virgin Islands police never formally interviewed Bane about her disappearance. How is this possible? The question haunts everyone following this case. What followed was a series of investigative decisions that would frustrate any experienced detective. No search warrant was obtained for the Siren Song. No GPS data was collected to verify the boat's movements. No phone records were analyzed. No social media activity was examined. No forensic tests were conducted on the vessel where Sarm was last seen alive. The evidence was there. The opportunity was there. The action was not. Former Metropolitan Police Commander David Johnston, who now assists Sarm's family, describes the investigation as incompetent. Johnston notes that the critical first 24 hours after a suspected crime were completely wasted. Within days, Bane hired David Caddy, a high-profile attorney who had previously represented Ghislaine Maxwell. Communication with investigators stopped completely. Let's rewind to that pivotal night. By late March 2021, with no formal investigation underway, the Siren Song left St. John waters. First Grenada, then Barbados, carrying away what could have been crucial evidence. But here's where the timeline becomes even more concerning. According to Commander Johnston's investigation, significant work was completed on the Siren Song while in Grenada. The boat's large freezer unit was reportedly replaced. Parts of the forward cabin were renovated. Why these specific modifications? Why at this particular time? The family's questions multiply with each new detail. In October 2021, the yacht went up for sale. $229,000 for a vessel that could have held answers. It was cleaned, partially remodeled, and sold without ever being forensically examined. How does potential evidence in a missing person case simply sail away? This question torments those seeking justice. For 3 years, Sarm's parents, Brenda Street and Peter Heslop, have lived in agonizing uncertainty. They've traveled to the Virgin Islands, met with officials, pleaded for answers. Their requests for information go ignored. Their emails receive no response. Brenda Street, now 67, no longer holds hope that her daughter is alive. "I do believe something terrible happened to her," she told Sky News. "There are places where people can disappear in the ocean and never be found." The family has written to President Biden, British Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron, and Virgin Islands Governor Albert Bryan, requesting federal intervention. They want the case transferred from local police to federal authorities. Their pleas continue to fall on deaf ears. While Sarm's family lives in torment, Ryan Bane has returned to life in Michigan. Recent photographs show him at a Planet Fitness gym in Lake Orion. Kate Owen, Sarm's best friend who received the initial phone call about the disappearance, describes her heartbreak. He's never come forward to help find her. Owen recalls that even during their first conversation, something felt wrong. He sounded upset, but almost drained. "I would have been absolutely frantic. It was almost like he was shrugging his shoulders. What does it mean when someone goes missing and the last person to see them alive shows such detachment?" This question haunts everyone who knew Sarm. In early 2024, Virgin Islands Police Commissioner Ray Martinez resigned amid federal corruption charges. Martinez had consistently ignored the Heslop family's requests for meetings. The resignation gave Sarm's family renewed hope that new leadership might finally take their case seriously. That hope continues to be tested. Perhaps the most frustrating aspect involves evidence that exists but remains sealed. Security footage captured Sarm and Bane leaving the restaurant and walking toward their boat. When police showed this footage to Sarm's parents during their 2022 visit, they stopped the video before it reached the end. What did those final moments show? Why won't authorities release the complete footage? These questions torment a family desperate for answers. Under U.S. law, police need probable cause to obtain search warrants. Bane's attorney argues that no such cause exists, despite the documented history, the investigation gaps, and the suspicious circumstances. 3 years later, critical questions remain unanswered. Why wasn't the boat immediately searched? Why were no forensic tests conducted? What do the final moments of security footage reveal? Why were boat modifications made after leaving U.S. waters? Commander Johnston believes the case represents systemic failure. "No one will speak with us," he states. "My belief is that had police searched the boat immediately, they would have found either Sarm or signs of what happened to her." The family continues campaigning under #Justice for Sarm, hoping public pressure might finally force action. What makes this case so disturbing isn't just one woman's disappearance. It's how the system meant to protect her failed at every critical moment. Sarm Heslop sought freedom in the Caribbean. Instead, she became part of a mystery that exposes the darkest failures of justice. Her story serves as a reminder that even in paradise, those meant to protect and serve can fail when it matters most. As her mother Brenda Street says, "I want to bring her home so I know where she is. She deserves that." Their hopes have since faded into a steady ache of not knowing. The waters around St. John keep their secrets. But Sarm Heslop's family refuses silence. They continue fighting for answers, for justice, and for the day when truth finally emerges from the darkness. Until then, one question echoes across the Caribbean: what really happened to Sarm Heslop on the Siren Song? This case remains under investigation. All individuals mentioned are considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. If you have information about Sarm Heslop's disappearance, please contact the Virgin Islands Police Department or the FBI.
If you enjoy deep dives into true crime, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Until next time, friends!